There we go. All right. Should we just go through these questions?
Yeah. Yes. Let's see.
So, number one, why do you think once Carol saw Lou as a person, she was willing to tell him that she would leave him?
Um, that is a good question.
Wait, let me read this again.
Um,
To tell him.
what do you think?
Um, I think that I think she knew, because like he was gonna leave, and I think she knew how good, um, like how much he needed to hear the lessons that were being taught.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think she knew how important that was for her husband, and so when he threatened to leave, like because she saw him as a person and because she cared about him and like wants the best for him, like she knew that him staying at the meeting and like learning more about like treating people as people would really benefit him. And so like she was willing to like threaten to leave him because she knew it would make him stay, which
Yeah.
would be good for him. Like I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Um. So yeah. Well, I was kind of thinking. I don't know if this goes very well with the question, but like, I think once she saw him as a person, she knew that she had more of a growth mindset and could tell that like he could improve and wouldn't just stay the same. And like yeah, that if he like if that got him to stay at the class, then he would learn more and maybe it would really help him and change him. Um, and just yeah, just mainly the fact that I think she saw that he could change because I feel like before maybe she thought he wouldn't ever change because he did seem like in the book he seemed very stubborn and like
Yeah.
set on what he was thinking, like what he believed.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, and definitely like maybe when you see others more as people rather than objects, you come to love them more. So I think her love for him increased even more. So like what you said.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she knew that him staying was the best thing for him.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Having, uh,
we go to question two.
yeah. Sorry, I couldn't hear you for a second, but now I
Oh,
can.
you're good. Um, okay. Remember the people stuck on the escalator. Let's imagine that the escalator represents their personal progression. Perhaps we could say that the man and woman who offered or who were offended or bitter and their hearts go to war while going up the escalator. How do self-betrayal and justification stop our progression?
Mm, um, so I thought it was really funny because with the video, um, I was watching and I was like, why don't they just get off the escalator? And then I realized that was the whole point of the video.
Yeah.
So like that was funny, but I think that them arguing on the escalator is kind of like they're not getting off. They're like stuck on the escalator and they can't go up because they're arguing. You're not going to get anywhere. And especially when you try to, well, with betraying yourself by doing what you know is wrong and responding with anger instead of kindness. And then just if you keep justifying yourself with people, it's just butting heads and it's not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
You're not really going up. I think the escalator is like a really good analogy. Like,
Yeah. I agree. I really liked it too. I was like laughing the whole time because it was just like so obvious like to walk up. But yeah, I said I'll just read kind of what I wrote. I said, when we are consumed with how we've been wronged and how things aren't fair, then we become convinced that the world needs to change or the people around us are the ones who are in the wrong. We are unable to see that we ourselves are the ones needing to change. The people on the escalator thought that them being stuck was someone else's problem and that it was someone else's responsibility to help them, when in reality, they needed to help themselves by just walking up the escalator. So like, yeah, they were like, they didn't think it was their fault that the escalator stopped, and they thought that it was someone else's responsibility to like help them and get them out of the situation. But like, really, they should have just helped themselves. And like, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's really cool. I like that. Yeah, like they were. I feel like that is kind of like blaming others when they're like, someone else should fix the escalator. You know, like, why do we have to get off? And then like,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like blaming others, and I feel like it's a very selfish. It's a very like kind of it's a selfish kind of mindset, I guess, and like when you're trying to justify yourself, you're only thinking of yourself and how like you can be right. And
Yeah.
but yeah, that was really interesting. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought that video was so funny.
Yeah, I definitely understand the escalator thing more now, because at first I was like, okay, I kind of get it, but like,
yeah,
it's a really good analogy.
Yeah, it is a good analogy. I feel like it happens so much. Like, yeah, we get stuck in our problems when there's like an easy solution, but we're not willing to like use the solution. I don't know. Anyways, it happens to me a lot. I feel like.
Yeah, like when you're in an argument or you're angry with someone and you won't let go of that anger.
Yeah.
Like you can't go anywhere. You're not gonna walk up the escalator. You're gonna stay right there.
Yeah, like you're not willing to admit that they're right and you're wrong.
And then you just stay there, and it doesn't go anywhere, and you don't get anywhere in a solution or improving yourself. So.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I thought. Okay, question 3. In this chapter, there were 4 boxes: the better than box, the I deserve box, the must be seen box, and the worse than box. Evaluate times in your life where these boxes have been present in your life and discuss your experiences. For the better than box, one thing I thought of was like super awful. When I had roommates, like I had like a group of friends and she would hang out. I had this one roommate that would hang out with us sometimes. Like I would get kind of annoyed with her sometimes just because we were just really different, and like and my friends like were secretly like didn't really like her either. And so we planned this trip to go to Yellowstone, and we like didn't invite her. And so like went, and she like was home by herself all day, and she like didn't know where we went. And then when we came back, she was like really sad. And anyways, I just feel like that was super selfish, and I like obviously did that because I didn't invite her, and I must have just felt like I was better than her, and that I don't know. Anyways, so
yeah,
it was kind of sad, but that's what I thought of.
That makes sense. I can see that. It's okay. I'm sure we all make those mistakes, and sometimes it's hard not to when you really don't like someone.
I know.
Sometimes it's really hard to be so, like, feel like, hey, you should come with us. And
yeah, exactly. It's easy for me to justify it 'cause it's like I live with you and I spend every single day with you.
Yeah,
And do something without you, but
for sure.
it was
I think we go into that mistake more of like these boxes when we like have easy justifications like that. Like, oh, I mean that makes sense, like
yeah,
like why not, like or not like why not, but like you're just like
yeah,
yeah, it's you get yeah.
yeah. Like this is fair.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I thought of for that. Did you think of
I
anything?
like it. Let's see. So I think I am guilty of the must be seen as box because like, and I feel bad, but I think it's partly like a lot of people want people in general. I think we each want to look be seen well from others,
Yeah,
and look like we're good at something, and like people see our talents. And sometimes I feel like with maybe dancing, I like have in my head, oh, like I hope they're watching me, and like it's really bad. But I think sometimes it's hard not to like if you just your self esteem is low, and I feel like sometimes I have low self esteem,
uh-huh.
and it's hard not to for me to fall into that. But and like I guess when people do compliment me, I try to be humble and or, yeah, like and I am grateful when people like compliment me. But, yeah, I kind of thought of that, and I need to be better at that.
Yeah, that's a really good example. I need to be better at that too. Or like when people compliment me, sometimes then I'll just be like, oh, they're just saying that to be nice. Like I'm like I don't actually look into it. Or like,
Mm,
all right, I'm really bad at taking compliments. Just like I just don't believe them a lot. Or just like
yeah,
I don't know. But I guess it's just
mm,
kind of a self confidence issue.
yeah. I think
Yeah,
I feel like that sometimes too, or I don't know how to respond to a compliment sometimes because I'm like I don't want to be like thanks, like I want to be like like show that I'm grateful for it, but I don't. Sometimes I hope I don't like. I try to show that I'm being humble, and yeah.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I feel like or I feel like in high school, I was like really self-conscious. I guess is the word. I was just really self-conscious, and like I had a couple of friends that I hung out with, but I really like wasn't good at making friends or like being social because I was just always afraid of like what people would think of me, or I just didn't want to make a bad impression, so I was just like kind of
Mhm.
shy.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely felt like that, and I think I still do feel like that. Like I
Yeah,
want people to like me, yeah, like
yeah, for sure. Me too. I feel like it got better when I got married. Like then it was easier. Or I just like don't hang out with anybody except for my so but
hmm
yeah,
um,
I think
oh,
that a
sorry.
lot of times I have like the worse than box too. Like a lot of
Hmm
times I feel like the world's against me or like my problems are bigger than everyone else's and like people should feel bad for me because I like have to go through this or I don't know. It's bad, but
hmm
I feel
Yeah, I get that.
yeah. Or sometimes I'm just like, of course that would happen to me. Like bad things always happen to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I was like feeling that the other day. Like like I worked on this brochure, and it's only worth 10 points, but my computer had like replaced it or deleted it or something, and like so it was gone. And I spent like I got 3 hours of sleep the night before because of it, and so I it kind of like set the whole day. Like I was just like, okay, I was super negative, and it was so bad, and I was like, why is this happening to
I
me?
would too. That stinks.
but it's okay.
Sorry, that really sucks.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I kind of had to, like, I think it's the same with the gospel too. Is like it's very like tells us like we should be positive, fight trials, and I think we're all guilty sometimes of like being like, well, why Heavenly Father? Why'd you do like why are you making me go through this? But like I think it helps a lot to remember like this is for our good and it'll be okay and we just need to be positive. And I think that helped me a little bit the other night with getting through like my homework at night because I was just kind of so like just down and like feeling frustrated. But like it's definitely a mindset. I
Yeah. Well, it's good that you had that mindset that you were able to like think it through. That's
think.
impressive.
Yeah, but yeah, yeah. I think I feel like I like have a lot of like all of these boxes a little bit in my life. You know, like one time or another. Yeah, like it was really eye opening. It was like, oh, yeah, but,
Yeah. Yeah, it's so easy to have them or that's just like yeah. Yeah, I just feel like it's in our nature kind of to think like
definitely.
yeah, to think like that. I don't know. Or it's like the natural man in us.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Like
Yeah.
just like, and I think the the better than and the I deserve boxes really remind me of people in high school. Like it just seemed like the general, especially out in the parking lot, dealing with people out in the parking lot, and like when my mom would pick me up, just seemed like the majority of students at the school just had this like entitlement feeling, you know, like I should go, you know, like I'm gonna cut in front of you, you know, like, and it just didn't work. Like the parking lot was a mess. And, like if everyone would have just been nice and thought of others, then I think it would have we all would have gotten out of there every day like faster. So it was frustrating to me because I was like I just didn't feel that way. Like like I was thinking of others, and I didn't feel like I needed to be entitled or anything. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it was frustrating.
That would be frustrating. That's a good example though.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I just thought of that now, and I don't know why I hadn't thought of it before while reading this. But yeah, it was interesting.
That was interesting.
It did make my mom really mad in the parking lot. That was kind of hard too.
It's just yeah, you saying that makes me remember like there were so many car accidents that happened in our parking lot too in high school.
hmm
People ran into each other all the time.
Oh yeah, but it's just like it just makes sense. And my mom would just like my mom says and points out to me, and I really like this. Like it feels good to be kind to people, you know. Like it just like
Yeah.
it feels good. Like it feel good to me to just like let that person go in front of me, you know, like just come like let them in from you know. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
agree. Yeah, it like builds confidence and like makes you happy, like doing nice things for other people.
definitely.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Do you have anything else
Um,
to add to question 3?
um, I think I'm good. Do
Okay.
you have anything else to add?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, question 4 then. It says, why do you think these attempts to change or do things differently seem to fall flat? What does this tell us about changing ourselves? Hmm.
So I didn't really get this question. Is it referring to like when did he attempt to change? Was that when he like called his coworkers to apologize?
I think so.
Is that what it's referring to? Okay, or like because he didn't really attempt to change with his son, right? Or like
Um, yeah, but I feel like he also didn't get a chance really because his son wasn't there. But
that's true.
I think Yeah, I think it's asking, like, yeah, like he did. I think he attempted to change, but yeah, like it fell through. I think that he, like, maybe in the moment he was like, okay, I'm gonna try this, but when he got so easily frustrated and angry again with his coworker and just lost everything he learned, like, just forgot about it. Like, I don't think his heart or his mind was truly into it. Like, he hadn't truly changed. He may have like begun to change a little bit, but I think it takes, like, he needed to realize that it's not just gonna take like changing right there. Like, I mean, sometimes changes can happen that quickly, but like, I think for him, he's so set in like the mindset he was that he needed time to learn to not respond with anger and to learn to apply the things that he was learning in the class.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I really like that. I agree. Like, yeah, like he had changed, like he had changed a little bit enough to
mm-hmm.
like call to apologize. But like he really hadn't changed because as soon as the one guy answered the phone and they like got in an argument, then he like
Went back to his old ways.
yeah, like everything went out the window and he like was super mad again. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And maybe he even still just needed to stay and listen to the rest of the class, because then after that there was a bunch more that he learned, and
yeah.
I feel like you could see more of a change in him after a while, especially at the end of chapter 14 we just read.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it seems like he is starting to change more now. But I just it's it's like almost frustrating how
Yeah.
like how much he or how he doesn't get it.
Yeah.
Like they'll say something and then he'll like try to contradict them and like argue with them.
Yeah, like he was very, I think he instigated the most like
Mm-hmm.
anger and contention in there, and then it caused others to be
Yeah,
more contentious. And he was just like sarcastic, and I was kind of mad. I was like,
I know. It was
shut up.
annoying. I know. Yeah, I just feel like he's so set in his ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is hard for someone to. It's hard for someone to change when they're so set. And,
Yeah, that's true. It makes me feel bad for his poor wife.
yeah, because she seems a little more like willing to change and listen. And
Yeah. Yeah, she just seems to care more.
mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
yeah, that'd be such a tough situation to have a child that like is stealing and like doing drugs and like
mm-hmm.
I just couldn't imagine doing that to my parents and I couldn't imagine like I wouldn't know what to do with a kid but anyways, that'd be hard.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I see why. Like, it's hard because you see why like Lou is so frustrated with his child. Like, yeah, it's a big thing for your child to be on drugs and, in that kind of trouble.
Yeah.
And so, like, I see why they were upset and why he was upset with the whole situation and stressed out, his work. But, like, yeah, it's a good thing that the class gave it a chance.
Yeah, for sure. I know, I wonder if like the kids are gonna come back later in the book.
Yeah.
Like I just wonder what they're up to.
Yeah. Like, I wish they would kind of. I mean, well, I had thought at first that the story was going to be about the children, and like their,
Yeah, me too.
and then it ended up being about the adults and learning this class. But,
Yeah,
so maybe, hopefully, like it'd be cool. Hopefully, at the end of the book, they'll like show these parents like implementing what they learned. Hopefully, they changed, and that, or at least show later that like their lives got better, their family lives, and things.
yeah, yeah. Like the good things that came from
Yeah,
everything. Yeah,
I hope they do that. Yeah.
yeah. I guess we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, yeah. My dad was saying that there's like another book written by the same author that's like about Lou and like his company.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's like a sequel or something, and like he goes back and changes the company, or I don't know. It's like all about that, which would be interesting to
That's
read.
cool. Yeah, because that was like a whole separate thing. Like, yeah, like I felt like it should be a whole other story, or like
Yeah,
because he had like dealing with his drug child and then dealing with his company, and like yeah,
yeah. Is he like? I couldn't tell if he's like the owner of the company. Kind of seems like it.
that's what I gathered. Like the manager
Okay. Yeah.
or the owner, yeah,
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought too.
yeah. So it's cool. It's been a cool book to read, and I like how it's told like it's teaching parenting principles, but in the form of a story, and it's not just like a textbook, but like the mindset textbook we were reading, which was fine. Like both are enjoyable, but it was cool to. I think it's more applicable. Like you can see how you can apply it better because it uses like people real life situations
Yeah,
in the
it's like
story.
a lot more applicable. Yeah, and like relatable, cause and it's just easier to read because it's in like the
Yeah, definitely.
yeah,
I'm very grateful for that.
yeah, me too. Yeah, it's just like way more entertaining. I feel like.
Yeah, it's stuff. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. Um.
Hmm.
Okay. Question 5.
Yeah.
What connections can you draw between the philosophical two ways of being and the gospel of Jesus Christ?
Does that mean the mindset?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think like having a heart at war or having a heart at
Oh, okay. Yes.
I think at least that's what I thought. Yeah, I just said when we have a heart at peace, then we're seeing people as people, and like we can recognize their strengths and like the talents that they've been given, and we see them like as God's children. And
Mm-hmm.
then like when we have a heart at war, then we're like letting Satan influence us, and we're straying like from the Lord's path. And like I feel like we're here to be like missionaries and help spread the gospel and like gather his sheep. But that's really hard to do if like we just see people as objects and we don't really care about them or have their best interests in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Um, it made me think of the gospel. It's it teaches peace and kindness, and it is in itself peace and kindness, and like um, I think that it already teaches us that I feel like we've kind of already been taught like to have a heart of peace because we've been taught to love others, and that's what Christ had obviously had a heart of peace, never a heart of war, which that's I think it's hard sometimes to not have a heart at war with people,
Yeah,
and sometimes it seems like it's because they have a heart at war. There's just some people, you come across in the store and they're very negative and they are kind of seeking contention. It seems to be, and so then it's hard to like not want to fight back. Like
yeah, that's a really good point. But yeah, sometimes it's not. Sometimes like other people cause us to have a heart at war because they start it, kind of.
mm-hmm. Or it's kind
Yeah,
of infectious.
yeah, for sure. And I feel like they were talking about that in the story a little bit.
Yeah, I remember saying something about that.
Yeah, because Lou was like, well, he was like talking to Carol, and he's like, well, like Corey, if like our son like our son's bad choices have made us this way, like have like
Yeah.
made our store. And he's like, you wouldn't be feeling these negative feelings if it weren't for him, which I
Yeah.
like, which makes sense. And like,
How people would think, yeah.
yeah, but like also they still have a choice. Like even though the choice is more difficult, like they still have a choice to like choose peace, even when
Mm-hmm.
their son is choosing war. But it'd be hard.
Yeah. Like it, um, maybe this sounds kind of like reverse or weird, but like, um, it's almost like, sorry, I lost my train of thought a little bit. Like, dang it, it's oh, I hate it. Like, oh, I think that when people have a heart at war around you, especially if you live with them, it's almost, it makes it easier for you to fall into that and to easier to make that choice. Like they are kind of an influence, sort of, but like they didn't make you become angry with them, and you chose to become angry, which makes sense. Like that's how I thought about it. So like,
Yeah.
but it is, I think, really easy to blame others and be like, "Well, he made me do this. He made me mad." Like, you know,
Yeah, for sure.
I think we say that a lot sometimes. Like,
Yeah. Like, yeah, we blame it on others. Yeah, I
mm,
definitely do that a lot.
what was that?
What?
What does that sound?
Oh, my husband just got home.
Oh, okay.
He just walked in.
It was like it sounded like oh, funny. Yeah. Um, there's something else I had in mind about this question. I'm trying to remember what it was. Um, um, yeah, well, I think it's like Jesus Christ is the ultimate example of a heart at peace, and people did horrible things to him, and he never once showed a bit of anger, and that is amazing, and I think
Yeah,
that is
that's
something to try for.
yeah. I didn't even think about that, but you're right. Like, yeah, like if anybody had something or like if
To
anybody
be
had
angry.
yeah, exactly, then it's him. Yeah, and he was like the ultimate example of loving everybody and yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I like how you said earlier that like when we have a heart at war, um, Satan does kind of like take over. I mean, he doesn't. Yeah, like sort of takes over. Like we chose to be angry, but like you kind of let him have more of an influence in you, and rather than remaining kind to people like Christ would do.
yeah,
I think it's like it's temptation to like. I feel like the natural man wants to create contention almost sometimes maybe like just wants to stir things up, and I feel like some people like you just come across throughout the day like in the store or something sometimes like that they just are out to they're negative, they're feeling really negative, and they just like want to start contention up, and maybe they didn't have the best life growing up. That's also something like I try to remember is that maybe who knows what just happened in their lives or what they're going through.
yeah, yeah. That's why like God is the only one that can judge people because He's the
Yeah.
only one that knows like what everyone's going through. But but yeah, that I like yeah like with Lou or like with Carol, his wife, like you could tell that like Satan had influenced her a little bit just because like her heart was at war a little bit. But like once you let him in, then it just is so much easier. Or like, because then Lou, like,
He was very
yeah, like you could just tell that he had
that was
been
his. Yeah.
totally overcome with like negative
Hmm.
feelings and
Yeah.
thoughts. Yeah.
And I think that is definitely like, I hope that Luke comes to see that, like, it's not his kid all to blame. You know, like, it takes two to fight, and like, he is making some mistakes that are contributing to their family life being very contentious and warring.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That's why I like so much that that they are focusing like on the parents and
Mm-hmm.
talking to the parents because like like even though their son is the one like ultimately making the choices, like his parents are having a huge effect on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's great that they're talking to the parents.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to like completely blame the parents, but then I kind of feel like, yeah, they're fixing the parenting, like, because I think that's sometimes where it starts. And like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we're all trying our best to be parents and like be good parents, but I think that this class that is going to help them with their parenting, like, it will help them, and it will, if they apply the things that they're learning, that it will show good results in their family life. And,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's interesting because I have a friend. Well, he's like a couple of years younger than me, but he he was like I don't know the whole story, but like he was having a hard time and like getting in trouble and like not going to school and all this stuff. So his
mm-hmm.
parents sent him to a camp, kind of like I don't know if like it probably wasn't the same one, but something similar where they like spend a couple months out in the forest, like
Yeah.
yeah. And his parents went for a couple days too, and they like had to experience it too. But anyway, so I just keep thinking of them and like their
Mm-hmm.
experience and how it's like a real thing. Like these camps are real. Because I can't tell if this is like a true story or not. Like
Yeah.
I can't tell
Yeah.
if it's like fiction or
If
nonfiction.
it's not, it's probably like, maybe it's based off a true story. Or just like,
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think you're right.
it might, like, I think it does good, good at representing how a lot of people might feel and what they may be thinking, and especially with parenting and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's very like real life, applicable.
Yeah, it's super applicable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
I wonder how like, because like, I just wonder how it affects the children with sending them out a couple like months in the wild. You know, like, is that a good way to help them, or would it be better like they're doing with the parents to, you know, like, not like lecture, I mean kind of lecture to them, but like,
Yeah.
do, yeah. But then I also feel like the children would not want to stay and listen. Like,
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like you're right. Like they wouldn't
they wouldn't.
participate or listen.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know. I'd hate having to live in the forest for 2 months.
Yeah.
I would.
Okay. Yeah. It'd be kind of interesting, but
Yeah, I think it was like my friend that went. Like apparently it was really like a good experience for him, and he came back like he like wasn't active in the church before, but like at the end of at at the end of the experience or whatever, like his last couple weeks there, he like asked his parents to send him a Book of Mormon, and he
that's
was like more active when he came home. And I think he just joined the Air Force, but yeah,
really cool.
I think it was really good for him.
That's cool. Yeah.
Mm.
I'd probably have to do more research about it too.
Yeah.
But it sounds like a good thing. I think my mom had a friend in like high school, and I think he was doing drugs and stuff, and his parents sent him to a camp like that. So it's definitely a real thing, and like
Yeah.
so.
It must be pretty useful or beneficial
Yeah.
or effective.
So, yeah, it makes me think of those like survivor shows or like people that go out in the wild and purposely try to survive in the wild.
Yeah.
They're, interesting.
Yeah, it does. Like, I think they have to catch their own food and stuff.
Yeah, that would. Yeah,
Like, I think it's pretty intense.
yeah. It sounds.
Yeah. That doesn't sound very fun. That was 45 minutes.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think
Cool.
so. Sorry, at 20.
We started like. I can't remember what time. Is there like a thingy that says how long it's been recording? I don't see.
I'm not sure. I think somewhere it said it had to be like at least 45 minutes to an hour, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, we should. I think we should be good. You think?
What?
I think we should be good if you.
Yeah, I think.
Okay. I can't remember when we started, so.
Yeah, we started around a little after 4:20. I mean 3:20, and it's 4:07. So.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I think. Do you know what? Oh, I guess because she only grades 2 of them, right?
I think so.
And she already graded 1, so. Yeah, but there's only 2 of us too, which makes it
Yeah.
better to talk for an
I don't know if she's even aware that. Because I think maybe technically our group's supposed to have 3 members. Maybe I could be wrong, but. So, but I think she said. I thought I read in like an announcement or something that she was going to change the groups or something.
Oh,
Next week maybe.
well then, I guess, yeah, then we have more members.
Yeah. So we might.
Different groups.
I think I can't remember where I saw that, but I think she might be. So we might not need to talk to her.
Yeah,
The discussion board is next week, so
that's true.
we can figure it out. If it looks like we're not going to be changing groups, then we can talk to her and be like, we need to put things like her. So
Okay,
if you think,
that sounds good. I'll probably send her a quick message and ask.
yeah,
Okay,
I'll probably do that too.
but it was nice talking to you.
Yeah, you too. All right. Have a good day.
I'll submit this recording.
Okay, cool. Thanks so much.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, bye.
Bye.